The rejection email from Next Solutions still sat in my inbox 3 months after I'd received it. I hadn't deleted it, partly as motivation, partly as a reminder that even the most qualified candidates face rejection. Thank you for your interest in the senior cybersecurity analyst position at Next Solutions. While your academic credentials are impressive, we're looking for candidates with more practical industry experience. Your skills aren't what we're looking for at this time. I had spent weeks preparing for that interview. I'd studied Nextech's infrastructure, identified vulnerabilities in their public-facing systems, ethically, of course, and even developed a comprehensive security roadmap tailored to their specific needs. During the interview, the technical director, Marcus Webb, had seemed impressed by my analysis. The HR director, Caroline Winters, less so. Your dissertation on quantum-resistant cryptographic protocols is fascinating, Dr. Shah, she had said, reviewing my resume with a slight frown. But at Nextech, we need team players with proven track records in corporate environments, not academics. The rejection stung, especially considering I had turned down 2 other offers while waiting to hear back from them. Nextech was the industry leader in financial technology, and a position there would have been the perfect bridge from my academic career to the private sector. Instead, I had accepted a position with Sentinel Security, a smaller but well-respected cybersecurity firm that recognized the value of my research. Within 2 months, I had been promoted to lead their quantum security division, with a corner office, a substantial salary increase, and the freedom to build my team from scratch. Life had moved on, and I had nearly forgotten about Nextech until my phone rang on a rainy Tuesday afternoon in October. Dr. Arya Shah. The voice on the other end was tense, authoritative. Speaking. This is Lawrence Chen, CEO of Nextech Solutions. That got my attention. CEOs of billion-dollar companies don't typically make personal calls. What can I do for you, Mr. Chen? We need to meet. Today, if possible. We're facing a security situation that requires specialized expertise. I checked my calendar, already knowing it was packed with client meetings and team reviews. I'm afraid my schedule is quite full this week, perhaps next. Dr. Shah, he interrupted, we're facing a security crisis that could potentially bankrupt our company within days. Your former professor, Dr. Winters at MIT, says you're the only one who can help. Please. The desperation in his voice was palpable, but so was my memory of Caroline Winters' dismissive tone during my interview. May I ask the nature of this crisis? Not over the phone, but it involves quantum cryptographic vulnerabilities, exactly your specialty. We'll pay whatever consulting rate your firm charges. I leaned back in my chair, looking out at the Seattle skyline from my corner office, the office I wouldn't have had if Nextech had hired me. My consulting rate is $15,000 per day, 3-day minimum, paid in advance. A pause. That won't be a problem. 2 hours later, I was being escorted through Nextech's gleaming headquarters in downtown Seattle. The security guards, the receptionists, even the employees rushing through the atrium all shared the same tense expression. Something had the entire company on edge. In the executive conference room, I found Lawrence Chen, Marcus Webb, and to my mild surprise, Caroline Winters. Chen looked like he hadn't slept in days. Webb seemed equally exhausted. Winters simply looked uncomfortable. Dr. Shah, thank you for coming on such short notice, Chen began, extending his hand. I understand our paths crossed during your interview process a few months ago. They did indeed, I replied, shaking his hand firmly. Caroline Winters cleared her throat. Dr. Shah, I want to. Perhaps we should focus on the current situation, I suggested, setting my laptop on the conference table. Mr. Chen indicated this was time-sensitive. Chen nodded gratefully. 3 days ago, we received this message on our secure executive server. He turned a monitor toward me. On the screen was a simple text message. We have quantum computed the private keys to your cryptocurrency holdings. In 5 days, we will empty all wallets unless 30 million USD is transferred to the following account. Technical proof of our capability is attached. Below was a string of highly technical data that made my blood run cold. It wasn't a bluff. Whoever had sent this had indeed managed to use quantum computing to break Nextech's encryption. We manage over $4.3 billion in client cryptocurrency assets, Chen explained. If these attackers have the capability they claim. They do, I interrupted, already analyzing the technical proof. This is legitimate quantum-assisted cryptanalysis. They've broken your elliptic curve encryption. Marcus Webb ran a hand through his hair. That's what our team concluded as well, but none of us specialize in post-quantum cryptography. We've consulted every expert we could find. But quantum-resistant cryptographic implementation isn't a theoretical concept anymore. I finished. It's an immediate necessity, and there aren't many experts who have moved beyond the theoretical. Exactly, Chen confirmed. Which is why Dr. Winters recommended you. She said your dissertation wasn't just theoretical. You'd actually built and tested quantum-resistant protocols. I opened my laptop. I'll need complete access to your systems, your current cryptographic implementation, and every communication you've had with the attackers. Of course, Webb said, sliding a security badge across the table. You'll have level 1 clearance, same as executive leadership. As Webb began briefing me on their systems, I noticed Caroline Winters hadn't spoken since her initial attempt. She sat at the far end of the table, watching me with an unreadable expression. The next 72 hours were a blur of code, coffee, and complex cryptographic implementation. I worked alongside NextX's security team, who were skilled but clearly out of their depth with quantum threats. By the end of the first day, I had confirmed the full extent of the vulnerability. And it was worse than they thought. They don't just have access to your cryptocurrency wallets, I explained during the midnight briefing. They could potentially access every client account, every transaction record, every piece of financial data in your system. My God, Chen whispered. That would destroy us completely. The good news, I continued, is that I've developed a migration path to quantum-resistant algorithms. We can implement it before their deadline, but it will require taking your entire system offline for 12 hours. 12 hours? Webb looked horrified. We process over $50 million in transactions every hour. Our clients will still have their assets when this is over, I cut in. The alternative is losing everything. Chen didn't hesitate. Do it. At 2 a.m. on the second day, as I was coding the core migration protocols, Caroline Winters appeared with 2 cups of coffee. Thought you might need this, she said, placing one beside my laptop. Thank you. She lingered, watching me work. Finally, she spoke. I made a mistake, Dr. Shah. 3 months ago. I continued typing, not looking up. We all make mistakes, Ms. Winters. I prioritized a certain type of experience over actual expertise. I dismissed your academic background as theoretical when it was exactly what we needed. She paused. I'm sorry. I stopped typing then, turning to face her. Apology accepted. Just like that? I shrugged. Holding grudges takes energy I don't have right now. Besides, your mistake led me to Sentinel, where I've been able to build something important. She nodded thoughtfully. Would you consider coming to work for us after this? Lawrence has authorized me to offer you any position you want, at whatever salary you name. I had to laugh at that. 3 months ago, I would have accepted your original offer without negotiation. Now, I'm afraid that ship has sailed. She nodded again, accepting this without argument. Then we're fortunate to have you as a consultant, at least. On the third day, at exactly 3 p.m., we initiated the system migration. The entire executive team, a board of directors, and a dozen anxious department heads crowded into the command center as NextX's entire financial ecosystem went offline. Beginning quantum-resistant key generation, I announced, executing the command sequence. For 12 excruciating hours, we watched as the new cryptographic architecture deployed across thousands of servers. At hour 6, we received another message from the attackers. We see what you're attempting. It won't work. Will it? Chen asked quietly, standing behind my chair. It already is, I replied, pointing to the progress indicators. They're bluffing now. At 3 a.m., exactly 12 hours after we began, the system came back online, now protected by cryptographic protocols that would resist quantum computing attacks for the foreseeable future. Test transaction, Webb called out. Successful, responded the security team. Client account verification. Integrity confirmed across all accounts. The room erupted in applause. I sat back in my chair, exhausted but satisfied. We had migrated $4.3 billion in assets to a quantum-secure environment in just 3 days, something that would normally take months of planning and implementation. As the celebration continued around me, Lawrence Chen approached with a check in hand. $45,000 as agreed, he said, handing it to me, plus a $100,000 bonus for saving our company. I accepted the check with a nod. You might want to consider investing some of that $4.3 billion in a more robust security team. Actually, he replied, I was hoping to invest in you. Not as an employee. I understand you're happy at Sentinel, but perhaps a security partnership between our companies, your team providing specialized quantum security consulting to ours. It was a good offer, one that would benefit both companies. I'd be open to discussing that. As I packed up my equipment, Caroline Winters approached one last time. I've learned an expensive lesson about recognizing talent, she said, one I won't forget. The best recruiters know that true expertise doesn't always fit into neat boxes, I replied. Sometimes the theoretical becomes practical overnight, like quantum computing threats. Exactly like that. Outside, the rain had stopped and the early morning sun was breaking through the clouds over Seattle. My phone buzzed with a text from my team at Sentinel, checking on my progress. I typed a quick reply. Crisis averted. Potential new client secured. Be ready for partnership discussions when I return. As my cab pulled away from NextX headquarters, I allowed myself a moment of reflection. 3 months ago, standing in the same building, I had felt the sting of rejection. The implication that my skills weren't valuable enough, practical enough, corporate enough. Now I was leaving as the expert who had saved a billion-dollar company from disaster, commanding fees that reflected my true value, and potentially establishing a partnership that would benefit my team at Sentinel. Sometimes rejection isn't a closed door. It's the universe redirecting you to where you truly belong, preparing you for the moment when those who rejected you need you most. And when that moment comes, it's not about revenge or gloating. It's about showing up with the expertise they fail to recognize, providing the solution only you can offer, and knowing your worth isn't determined by someone else's failure to see it. 3 days after saving NextTech, I received an email from Lawrence Chen. The subject line read, Partnership Proposal, NextTech and Sentinel Security. The opening paragraph made me smile. Dear Dr. Shah, your skills are exactly what we're looking for.